Before Tottenham Hotspur's 1-0 victory over Manchester United, a dramatic scene unfolded outside the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium. As the "Levy Out" protest march neared its destination, a lone protester holding up a "Levy In" sign stood in the path of the demonstrators, echoing the iconic stance of defiance seen at Tiananmen Square. The sign was swiftly grabbed from his hands, but the protester produced another, leading to a brief scuffle before the police intervened. The marchers, cheering, proceeded to their premium-priced seats inside the stadium, while the energy outside mirrored the intensity of the day. Inside, United fans chanted for the Glazers to leave, underscoring the shared dissatisfaction that both sets of supporters felt toward their respective clubs' ownership and management. This match was billed as a Jeremy Kyle Classico, an absurdist football drama, full of grievances, dysfunction, and long-running grudges. Both Spurs and United are clubs grappling with big questions. What does football mean now? Who controls it? And what are these protests really about? Poor governance, transfer decisions, and the hyper-capitalism that has commodified the sport, turning devoted fans into paying spectators in a massive business venture. The energy surrounding the match felt as important as the game itself, with off-field resistance matching the on-field action. On the pitch, Spurs triumphed 1-0 in what was ultimately a breezy, mid-table battle, but one in which Tottenham looked far more functional and cohesive than United. Spurs manager Ange Postecoglou was delighted to have key players back in the fold and found in United the perfect opponents, an increasingly dysfunctional squad. While individual players like Jadon Spence, Dejan Kulusevski, and Lucas Bergvall stood out with strong performances, Spurs' overall team play has been a positive, with Bergvall, in particular, impressing with his dynamic movements in the midfield. United, on the other hand, began with a deep defensive block, but their approach appeared disjointed. Casemiro, bundled up in thick gloves, seemed out of place as he tried to manage the midfield. Their struggles were exacerbated by James Maddison's performance, with his ability to find space causing real problems for United. The lone goal came from Maddison in the 13th minute, a scrappy finish off a deflected cross that exposed United's poor defending. Despite their best efforts over the next 80 minutes, United were unable to break down Spurs and seemed to be playing out a system they were still learning, as if following a manual without truly understanding the game. United's problems are far more profound than tactical errors. The squad is ill-constructed and too expensive, with poor planning leading to players like Rasmus Højlund and Joshua Zirkzee struggling to make an impact. The bench was also lacking in depth, a stark reminder of how far United have fallen from their glory days. While Spurs are not without their own flaws, there is at least a sense of hope and purpose, something United sorely lack. In the end, it wasn't just Spurs' performance that gave a sense of optimism, it was the underlying energy, both inside and outside the stadium, that suggested there's still a fight left in these clubs. The real resistance is not just against the product on the field, but against the forces that have shaped modern football, for better or worse.